So yeah, I was giving Nick a little bit of backstory. Pete, I met you. I don't really know. It's been a long time. I feel like I've known you for a century, and I've always appreciated how you conducted business and carried yourself. So wanted to have you on the show and really just pick your brain, see what you're about and how you got into the trades.
Absolutely, yeah. We've done a lot of work for Confluence over all the years. It feels like I've run into you all over the city for sure. Definitely a really unique technology that helps all over across the country in multiple different ways. It's pretty unique, and that's why I've stuck with it so long. But yeah, really interesting. I started, my boss, Ryan Shannon, he's been around double, if not longer than I have. He got me into this because he knows one of my brothers real well. Excuse me. And then that was about just over 6 years ago. And yeah, I've been around at the Federal Reserve around, it felt like hundreds of millions of dollars, all the way to working in Parker, Colorado on post-tension decks and whatever we do. And yeah, just the technology and the different places I go and bringing a value to the workplace is actually an extremely important thing that makes you feel important as a person. And that's what has just kept me going.
That's awesome, Pete. I think I recognize you. We've worked together before.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Can you just give us a rundown of exactly what you do? What is your position? What does your company do? And then we can dive into some more of the technical stuff.
Sure. I'm a senior project manager for a company called GPRS, which stands for Ground Penetrating Radar Systems. I'm in the field. The main technology we use is a GPR radar that can read into grade or dirt or concrete. And we specialize in keeping people safe and free from hitting utilities, hitting a pressurized post-tension cable, helping do a lot in that industry. The company itself has quite a wide range. They specialize in utility locating, GPR, which stands for ground penetrating radar. They have a leak division. They have a video pipe inspection division. They have launched an extremely original style technology, something called sitemap, that allows people to see all the infrastructure and all the utilities when they're at big projects, and it lays it all out for them. It's a really unique. It's like a map that fully people have access to, that can at all times, anytime they're digging or drilling, allows them to see wherever that is. It is this technology, what I've seen, which I've been a part of, has grown exponentially over the 6+ years I've been with the company. And they started, I believe, roughly 18, 20 years ago. And the way that it's come now it's pretty impressive what this technology does, if I explain that in a decent manner.
Yeah. And so as a project manager for a company that does GPRS or ground penetrating radar, what does your day-to-day look like?
Can vary. When we get really huge jobs, I'll be there for a week or two at a time. Like my day-to-day can include going seeing one of you guys easily, Cody, Nick, for a half day, full day, minimum. So we usually break that down. Like for instance, I've been badged out at DEN or DIA, so I started my morning there. They're redoing a lot of their ramps, a lot of the walk-ups to the top floor at the parking garage. So I started my day with those guys drilling dowels, and they couldn't hit any rebar, so I just marked that out for them real quick. And then secondly, went to a site that's down in Cherry Creek, PCL company, that they're remodeling that whole mall, and I spent a lot of day there, which is interesting just from an engineering perspective, because they're tearing down existing columns and structures and building new ones. It's drilling into current structures. It's pretty involved. So that was my, if that kind of pictures it, but each day can be different. The worst job I've ever done was easily at a sludge room in a water waste treatment plant. That was a bad day. I threw away almost all my equipment that guarded everything because it smelled so bad. But then the best job, maybe the most fun, interesting job I've ever had, is I've been on the top of a mountain in Telluride for a job way up by the tower behind the airport. They were digging using an excavator, and they just didn't want to hit any electrical. So it ranges, but for my day-to-day being a senior project manager, I spend a lot of time on concrete because Denver and these concrete jungles and all the new structures can offer quite a different array of challenges. And with experience, you learn how to handle a lot of those.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. How did you get into this industry?
Funny because a lot of people will say, "How did you even get into this?" And you say, "Kind of fell into it." My brother, I was working for a company called Ecolab for 4 years, and that job was pretty rough. And my brother was good friends with Ryan, my boss, and so my brother told him like, "Hey, you should call Pete," and he did. And 6 years later, it started off kind of rough. It's an interesting and it's a challenging job. We have in our industry what we call hits. Like for instance, if I told you guys were okay to drill somewhere and we drill there and hit a conduit, post tension cable, which would never happen, but if it did, we 100% own up to that and back that up. Well, that happened to me 3 times in my first year, so it's kind of learning by fire, and that's how I just stuck through it. And Ryan was real patient with me and kept helping me. And more experience, sometimes you do learn the hard way. It's kind of how I've come to here at this point.
Yeah, I've experienced your guys' services in scanning concrete decks, mostly to avoid post tension cables or conduit, like you mentioned. Um, looking looking at the scanner when you guys are kind of running that thing across the concrete, um, it does. You have to learn how to read it. I mean, for anyone first starting out, I mean, what was it? Just repetition over time that allowed you to notice things? Because it's not very straightforward if you don't know what you're looking at.
Definitely I had no experience going into it, and that played itself out probably in that first year. I mean, I've done plenty of construction jobs, but nothing like this. And as you guys know, those post tension cables are under tens and tens of thousands of pounds of pressure, but they usually come in bundled sets or in groups. So what you're looking for is hyperbolas, reactions. Rebar is pretty easy to tell. It usually has a top and bottom mat. That's one. You use patterns to see. There might be a single cable that would confuse some people, thinking, "Oh, that's just rebar, it's by itself." But if you follow it out, you'll start to see post tension near the columns is really high and drapes to the middle, towards the middle slab, and comes back up next to the next or near the next column. So you look for patterns, clues. You look for reaction types. Certain reactions, you just get so used to it that you're like, okay, that looks like bar. Let me make sure the pattern fits, and you find the rebar pattern. So again, pattern spacing is a big one. You get big bundled sets. For people that don't know what that means, that's a ton of cables. They usually run in one direction, and then they usually have what's called the uniform running in the opposite direction, meaning it's not these huge bundles. It's more in sets of 2 or 3 or maybe 4. But that spacing is usually about 2 feet on center, maybe 3 feet on center. Rebar is usually much more like 12-inch on center, so you can use patterns, things like that. You use clues. You get just super used to it. And then next thing you know, you just easily just will swipe over one thing and say, okay, oh, there's all your cables. You're not going to drill there. Here's an open spot. And one thing our company does, and I know you guys, it's pretty much par for the course with what the deal I think we have with you guys, but we give something called a green box, which is us guaranteeing that part of the concrete's clear. So we'll go find you an open spot where we easily see through the whole slab. You're not going to hit anything here, drill here. So you can easily tell when you get those readable slabs. You can come across 36-inch plus, 24-inch plus slabs that you can't read through from one side, so you have to scan both. But yeah, it can. The type of screen you're looking at, a lot of people joke around that it looks like the Matrix. I wouldn't go that far, but I would just say it's a fancy fish finder for a lot of people. That it sends a sonar down and it sends back reaction, and then you get used to kind of what you see in terms of the size and things like that.
I've also noticed that the scanners just look different than they did 5, 6 years ago. How rapidly is that technology advancing?
Pretty quick. It's funny though that a lot of other companies haven't caught on yet. I could tell a story about a different company that was baffled by watching the equipment we use now, because now it's on an iPad and it's just a palm. Nice and easy to use, easy to carry in a briefcase. It's easy to climb wherever you need to climb sometimes, or up a ladder, or whatever you need to do. But the old, when I started, had I'd carry a big old backpack, and it would have it in it. I'd have a briefcase with the palm in it that had a huge cord. One of probably the best guy we have in the field. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have come across Chap. There's quite a few guys that I'd shout out to: Chap, Matt, Mike, Keenan, John, Justin. But anyway, Chap still uses the old one because he's from Seattle, which is a concrete jungle, and he is really good at what he does, and he won't go to the new stuff yet. So it's still extremely effective. But I mean, those things probably cost collectively with the palm like $25,000. The iPad, I mean, it's just an iPad, so that's like $900. I don't know what the palm costs these days in the maintenance, but it's a lot less. Real easy to carry, which is like, and that's the one I use, is the iPad one.
Sure, you have to pay for the software and stuff too, right?
Well, GPRS is the originator of a lot of it, but they fix everything in house. They're a big company. There's probably senior project managers, not so much, but just project managers, which is same thing. There's 400 plus of us, I believe, 430 of us in the nation. So they had everything in house. I'm not exactly sure where they source exactly batteries and the actual hardware, but the software, it's a good question. I think that's all kept in house, though.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I saw it, it was almost like it looked pretty janky, if I'm being honest. Like it almost looked like a homemade kind of cart with the I don't even know what you call it, like the reader on it.
Yeah, they have like a handle and big four wheels.
Right.
We have a technique we use. It's called cross polarization, and it sounds probably fancier than it is, but on our scanners we have the palm and there's a survey wheel. You can actually flip that wheel perpendicular, and that cancels out things like wire mesh. It actually cancels out the grease inside a post-tension cable. And again, if people don't know, post-tension cables are banded set of cables that are twisted and pulled inside a greased sheath of plastic. So that wheel will actually turn, and that actually kind of indicates if you're looking at post-tension or not versus rebar. It's really interesting because like the survey wheel gets flipped, and again, we call it cross-polarization, it actually makes rebar more prominent, meaning it shines brighter, and then the cables actually kind of disappear. So it's like, oh, okay, there's a cable that's bar, or conduit these days is all that Smurf tubing or whatever. It's easy to see because it's the direct opposite reaction. But old conduit would still give a bright metal reaction. You just have to find that out of pattern. But that cross polarization thing is a really cool thing. But all the machines have that. But even the old ones, you'll hear of a lot of companies that do GPR, and some of them do a great job. The ones I've come across, I've seen good and bad. But if they're still using that big thing with the wheel, they can't do that cross polarization thing. That's all based in the palm. And there's a story out of DIA. I won't bash any company, but they were just baffled by it and tried to take pictures of it. And I was like, no, because they were calling mesh, blocking it out all red, saying they were going to hit post-tension cables, but it was Pandeck, which doesn't post-tension cables, has conduit, but they were marking out mesh because they didn't have that capability, and they were seeing overlapped mesh. So that one tool allows us to really jump ahead of a lot of people.
How many, I guess, when did the transition start where you guys were seeing competition, if you will, other companies?
Well, the one competition to us definitely is the one-stop shops, where they do the sorry, I have frog in my throat. Where they have the one-stop shop, where they do the drilling and the GPR. Those are great options, and if they're good at what they do, and Denver's going to definitely have guys that can do both. That's one route to go that saves on cost for sure. But I don't know. I would say personally in the field, before, markings were just, from any other company, they're sloppy. Like, barely can tell what's going on, just lines everywhere. Maybe one was red. We, on purpose, differentiate, and we do it bright red, maybe with a blue label of conduit post-tension. We mark black, rebar, we differentiate. And I haven't seen quite that extent yet. I did see at one place the markings weren't as clean, but they did differentiate, and that was probably about 5, 6 months ago.
Hmm.
There's other companies that are trying. I mean, I'm not exactly sure where you could source the radars if you found the right one, like what we used, and you knew what you were doing and could fix it. But I'd assume that's not too far off. I mean, can't be that they have a copyright on all GPR, but
Sure.
I haven't seen any of our equipment yet. I've only seen like the one that rolls with the handle, the big handle on the four wheels.
Hmm.
But that's the only one I've seen so far.
So what does continuing education look like for you guys? Is that all in-house classes that you guys take, or are they conferences that you get to go to?
Great question. So we go through what we call sims, and I went to actually did not make it to Sim 101 because I started right at COVID. But I went to Sim 201, and I believe there's one more they'll send senior PMs eventually, where they take the top guys in the company. We go out in the field and we see extremely complicated stuff. They give new techniques. Really, there's truly no other teacher than getting out in the field.
Mhm.
Like Ryan Shannon, my boss, one of my bosses, he'll still say to this day, and he's been in the field I think out 12 years. I still see stuff new almost every week, if not every month. You're still always seeing something you just never have quite come across. So going out to a classroom per se and keep going on education works for collaboration to see other things, but there is no better teacher than experience for sure.
Yeah, repetition and just seeing it, like you're
Right.
saying. It's awesome.
I like to have a lot of the new guys help them to show them like, hey, put eyes on it this way. Don't spin your wheels with this because that's not going to help them. You need to focus on what is the solution we're providing for them, and then focus on that. And that seems to help a lot of the new guys. We've GPRS and at least the Denver team and any team I've come across, phenomenal teams for them, like 99% of them.
Yeah, I've been impressed with how you guys all carry yourselves and the pride that you guys have. So
No, thank you for saying that.
yeah, it's a testament to your guys's just all of you guys buying in. So it's awesome. Have you been able to scan anywhere else outside of Colorado or?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I've been to Montana. We go all around. I have little ones, so they tend to stick me around the city, which is nice. Happy to go anywhere. We're in the mountains a lot. Vail, Keystone's putting up some new, timeshare condos, and they were concerned about those glycol lines, that are in the sidewalks, which that's actually really interesting for GPR. If they're empty, they're super easy to see, but as soon as they fill with glycol, they disappear. It's kind of fun. The probably most unique place we'll go. We do a lot of what we call concrete analysis. Let's say a dam, concrete might be failing in some certain areas, so they've got to figure out what's going on ASAP. So, I haven't personally been down to the dam in the Southwest. I can't remember exactly the name, but we had a huge project there. They did a big analysis on all the concrete that was starting to fail, so they sent it to the engineers so they could figure out what to do. But I mean, we go all over. We're in every city, minus maybe Albuquerque, major city, I should say.
Sure.
So there's a lot of coverage around. Rapid City is a big one we travel to because I don't think they have a rep. But yeah, we go all over. Anything different we've seen and scanned. I mean, I was in a building 3 weeks ago in the Highlands downtown, an 1890 elementary school that had tunnels underneath. 16-inch walls, they literally didn't put anything in. Like, no rebar, nothing. It was really strange. And obviously, it stood the test of time.
Right. That's crazy. How many tunnel systems are there in Colorado? You hear all these rumblings, especially in that area, that a lot of tunnels were made, for whatever reason.
Yeah, there's some that connect Denver to Boulder. I haven't really been in any of them, so I probably can't speak too much, but I've definitely heard a lot of the guys downtown. The guy I was working for that elementary school was the one saying it too, saying, "Oh, Wiki, there's tunnels all over this city." So yeah, I've heard those too, and DIA.
Yeah, I've heard the rumblings of DIA. I've personally seen them. I've seen tunnels in the heart of Denver, connecting certain buildings. that I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose, but pretty crazy. It's weird that they're there. They're definitely there.
I've worked in Japan a long time. I haven't seen any,
Yeah.
but I haven't gone to that areas, but no, I haven't seen any.
Sure. Yeah, and I know a lot of the ones that I've seen were closed due to asbestos or whatever else. So we were able to go through sections of them, but we weren't able to go through the entirety of it, you know?
Sure.
Pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. We did kind of oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
We blew through the concrete analysis for the dam. What does that look like and what does that entail? I don't think
So
I've
we'll probably find rebar size. We'll find rebar spacing. We'll find reed as deep as it can go. Touch on that. We'll be looking, a lot of times you're looking for voids as well, which a void is just empty space, which sometimes is created by water. So it's an indication of water damage. So we will do, in our concrete analysis report, we take very detailed photos, and it's all written out of exactly how we found this. And in that report, these pictures detail exactly where we found it. And then we show the data screenshot as well of what we see on the GPR. And we point it out to make it very obvious of what this is. We'll say, this is your rebar at size this. So sometimes it's that, and then we'll include the void. Voids always require reports. They're pretty common anytime before a crane placement, obviously, just to make sure nothing were to collapse. So we get called out for void reports, and again, we're just looking for that, what we call it the Oreo on GPR. It's black, white, black, indicating there's some very heavy void going in there. So that's what a lot of times you're looking for in dams. Pools, that's common too. Pools lose a lot of water. Same type thing.
So for anyone that's listening, that would be interested in getting into GPR as a career, what are the steps that they should take?
A step ahead would be understanding the industry. I would say that a basic labor or construction worker that's been in his job for 2 years would have a good start in understanding a lot about what we do, because he's actually had his hands in that. I did go into it completely green, so it's not impossible at all. It does help to know someone. That for sure helps to put that name on the resume, and you can always put mine down. But the best way, you can check out gp-radar.com and look for open positions. I believe I have that right. I would search, if you are going to look online, search GPRS Inc. They're based out of Indian Hills, Ohio, or Maumee, Ohio. That'll be a pretty good indicator if you're on the right website. For experience coming into it, any general contractor that uses us, or subcontractor that uses us, and they've been in any of those trades, would have a pretty good step up on what we do. They hire a pretty good range of different types of people. I was technically, again, a sales rep, but I was really just fixing dish machines all the time. They're big into hiring military. That's important. Trying to think of they've hired park rangers that just kind of had an understanding of what we do and understand of even the utility locating side. So it's hard to say to have this or this specific thing, but something that would help you if you really wanted to come into this industry is working with your hands and understanding that side of things would definitely be a leg up, I would think. It is, you guys know, you guys work long days. You guys are superintendents. You guys know how it goes. We're in the work. You guys have got your hands in all of it, and you guys got meetings all day, and then pretty cool, you guys do a podcast even after that.
Mm-hmm.
But getting your hands in, understanding the industry would be a huge way in getting in. And you meet a lot of people, and trade work seems to be the most reliable work that I can find.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, you traveling around and having the amount of windshield time that you have would be tough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is there anything that you do in between the jobs that keep you sane or keep you in the right mindset, or
Sure. It's important to know your why, of course. I think that's for anybody anywhere. Um, my kiddos, the wife, the family, we have an awesome community. Cody, you live in Elizabeth too, right?
Yep. Yeah, my family and I do as well.
Out here into that's definitely my motivator to be an important part and a reliable professional in the community for me. But motivation, yeah, you're right. A lot of windshield time. I like to drive. Tons of listening time. Big sports guy, born and raised here, so I like listening to sports talk, whatever podcasts, good things like that. Just kind of gives you also your space when you're constantly busy, kind of like your alone time you get. I don't mind all the driving, but really keeps me going is that it's just that the technology keeps growing. This company that I work for, I can't speak to any other GPR companies, but this company specifically treats you extremely well, and they take care of their people. And a lot of companies say they do, but GPRS has really backed it up and been there for everything. One model this company does is the more you work, the more they pay you, and that sounds like an hourly thing, but that's not where I'm headed. Their pay structure actually allows like exponentially the way they pay you, the more jobs that you get done, the more that you produce, instead of, which typically I found across corporate America is they try to get that employee to work more for less. So that's easily a huge thing, and they have great benefits, good time off. If you're done with your day, they don't mind as long as you're being productive, making some phone calls. You can be done a little early, might be done late. It's got so many benefits, and the main one being the reason is the family for sure.
What is the trajectory within your company? What do you come in and do at entry level, and what can you progress towards?
They have, depends where you're at. If you're in Arizona, they have project coordinators. I don't know if you've called into the office. That's kind of maybe a good step in. They do have to deal with a lot, but it's kind of an understanding. If you're going to do what I do and be in the field, you just start as a regular project manager. You spend 2 months out in the field, learning without any type of risk. You're just alongside to help in any way you can and learn the job, and they send you to the corporate office for a couple weeks. Then you just keep getting promotions within that, which is what I've done. So you go from a PM to PM1 to et cetera, all the way to SPM, which is what I am. If I wanted to do a career jump, there'd be 2 routes I could probably go, which would be area manager, which is my boss, or business development manager, which is the sales rep. I could go the sales role, but I've done sales jobs over my life, and I personally prefer being in the field. They honestly take care of the field, I feel like, really well, and you make really decent salary just by working harder, which is my MO. Like, I'm in for that. But if you wanted to, I'm topped out at where I'm going to go. So, I've been around for 6+ years. My next spot would be an area manager if that was something I wanted to do, which it could be. The business development side is interesting. I have gone with the business development manager on golf, trips just here within the metro just to take other clients out. That was a lot of fun. So that'd probably be the next trajectory. The next one would be their bosses. You can go do a wide range of sales. That program I kind of briefly mentioned, Sitemap, has its own division. That is something you can go do. For me, it would probably, I'm going to stay in the field for a while. I'm good at it, and I enjoy it, even on the hard days.
Can you elaborate a little bit? You said, is it your position hourly and a little bit of commission based, or is it just a straight flat salary?
It's salary, and you're based on how much revenue you bring in. So it's kind of like a sales commission, but it's not. We're not sales reps, and that's not what we're doing. So, for instance, as a senior rep, I make a pretty decent salary for me, I think. But then, like, I brought in over 52,000 in March, so they exponentially pay on that on top of the salary. So
That was $52,000 or 52,000 jobs.
no, $52,000 in revenue for the
I was going to say, you are a hustler if you are going around 52,000 places. That's insane.
No, That was mainly like 2 huge jobs, one going on at Lockheed Martin, and then that new structure they're putting up in downtown at Metro State.
Good for you. Good for you. It's awesome. Yeah, I've always viewed you guys. You guys don't really act individually. You guys act as a team, but it's back to the pride comment that I had. You guys, in my experience, any GPRS person that I've run into or that I've had on my job, they've acted like it's their own. That's their own company. You know, you guys take a lot of pride in what you do, try to follow up, try to make sure I have all the information. And I think truly that's what sets you guys apart, you know?
Well, thanks. That's exactly. I'll take it. There's been some bad reps. I mean, you know. Oh, there you are. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. We just can't see you.
1 second. I don't know why. My internet's fine. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's fine.
Okay. I don't know why that was kind of off. We've had some bad reps come through, but now the team is solid from top to bottom. And that's exactly the way we treat it. And when I help a new guy at a job or he comes to one of mine, I say those exact words. Treat this like it's your own company and you're going to do real well for yourself. We want to be the easy button for guys like you. Like, we don't want to always have to call in, explain our whole job site every single time, the scope every single time. You could literally just call us and say, text me, Pete, I need you for a half day. Cool, be there tomorrow. I'll be there whatever, the next day. We really take pride in that, and I think I think there's 14 of us in the city. Everybody on that team is just like that. They treat it like it's their own.
That's awesome. Can you see us, our cameras?
Yeah, can you not see me?
No, we cannot.
You can or cannot?
No, negative.
Oh, weird. It says it's on the front camera. I can see me, which is weird.
That is really weird.
Yeah, something blipped, and I don't know what happens. I don't know. My camera says it's on. Anyway, yeah, so the team is deep, solid. Everyone treats it like their own. We've got 2 great managers, Ryan Shannon, Trey Merrill. I don't know if you've come across. I know Ryan. Trey has been here for the last couple of years. Extremely knowledgeable and intelligent person. And everybody on the team, you have to pass. I'm going to jokingly call it the Wonderlic test, like they do for the NFL draft combine, but that's not what it is. But it's some type of evaluating mental test that we all have to take. You have to get a certain score to make it. And I seen the guys that are coming through are extremely intelligent guys. Got 2 guys down in the Springs, guys up north, guys in the city, kind of in between like myself. So we're real deep. We take a lot of pride in what we do. We also, if we get that quote unquote strike or hit, we physically have to pay quite a bit of portion. I know we have some insurance, but that also keeps us on our toes.
Do you guys carry your own personal insurance then, or is it just the companies?
Just the companies.
When you say you have to take care of it financially, is it the individual or is it the company that takes that financial hit?
It's kind of both. We have to help chip in, pay for it, what insurance doesn't cover. So, if you guys maybe could speak to this a little better, but I think the cost to fix like one cable that's hit is something 40,000-50,000, and if you hit multiple, it could be escalated to more than that. So
yeah, it depends on the situation. I've hit a bundle of 4. Now we're gonna get into this. I've got a reputation in my company for hitting cables.
If you're gonna do something,
unfortunately.
Do it good.
But yeah, I hit a bundle of 4 once. This is probably back in 2020, and yeah, I mean that ran us $30K all day. I mean, it was a bundle, so they had to chip up the concrete to get to the end of them, but they could hit all 4 ends from one chip out, basically. So, but it adds up for sure.
Well, that's not as bad as I was thinking. because there was a job in Castle Rock. One of those new apartments came up, and I was scanning there, and there was some type of they weren't repairing the cables. They were putting in some type of what was it, like polyurethane material. It was odd. I can't remember. It was real black dust. And I was talking to them, and it cost them $180,000 for them for that, because that was less than what it was going to cost for them to hit all the cables. So I was like, ooh, that's where I'm thinking. But 30,000, that's still a lot. And 4 cables. Did it even pop out of the concrete?
No, they didn't. They popped out at the end, at the pole end. I think it pushed through. Yeah, just pushed the grout cap out, and they kind of slowly poked out, but nothing snapped through the concrete.
Oh, that's good.
Have you ever heard of that happening?
I've heard of wives' tales, but even on the cables when I was new that they hit, nothing happened. Yeah, I've heard of, I can never tell, but someone said, I think on a job that ripped out of concrete and ripped a guy's arm off. I've never seen that or heard of that. Although on big bundled sets, I've never seen somebody drill over. Thank God our technology helps save people, but I've never seen anything crazy either. That's why I was curious if you did.
The most violent break I've ever seen was we were stressing cables, and it was on like a patio that stuck out past our containment for temp heat. So it ended up freezing overnight, so that concrete didn't fully cure. And we were stressing those cables, and the patio literally blew up. They put enough pressure on it, so they got like, I think they got like half of them stressed, and then they got to like the 7th or 8th one, and boom, the whole thing just blew up. I mean, it ripped the whole patio in half.
Were the guys stressing those cables okay?
They were, I mean, they were shocked. It sounded like an explosion almost. It was loud, it was violent, it was instant. And yeah, I mean, it can be super dangerous if things go wrong stressing, but yeah, fortunately everyone was okay on that one. But I remember the inspector came running down like, "Nick, you gotta get up here now. Something bad happened." I was like, "Shit, all right, I'm coming."
Why me, damn?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a crazy amount of force under those cables though.
No, I haven't seen anything too crazy in that. Hopefully that means I've been good at my job.
Yeah, I mean, truly, GPR is a lifesaver. I mean, I don't, for those of you that don't know, I mean, we're talking elevated concrete decks. Some of these are, we just got off a 14-story building, so 14 stories up in the air. And if you have to go through that concrete deck with anything, you have to drill a hole through the deck. And there's all this reinforcement, including these cables that are, it's like a suspension bridge. They're under a bunch of tension. They're holding up this deck. And if you drill through one of those cables, it's no bueno. So yeah, GPR is a game changer. Of course, the drone shots are also a game changer these days that we take before we pour these decks. We can identify a lot from there, but better safe than sorry. Always worth spending the money on GPR rather than breaking cables or um, rebar. Even rebar can be pretty detrimental if you go through it.
Yeah, those are awesome for somebody in the field like me, because if we're in a really heavily reinforced area, like, hey, we've got to get a 4-inch core through this. It's 28 inches. This is what we've got. We can scan from both sides. I'm only seeing 5 from both sides because it's just so heavily packed. Mix that with, okay, I trace these cables out here, and look what those drone shots. Those are game changers, and
it's peace of mind. You can compare the two. You can look at your lines that you just scanned and drew out and compare it to the photo. Yeah, it looks the exact same. This one crosses roughly here, and we got, something to reference to make you guys feel comfortable. I mean, that's really cool to hear on my end that you guys, I mean, it's probably a little scary sometimes on your end, but to hear that you guys are financially responsible for hits, I mean, that's that's a game changer on our end. You know, that means you have some skin in the game and you're going to take it seriously. So, um, yeah, I can imagine those drone shots help you guys a ton.
They do, and they just the point is to, you know, whenever you guys are doing a job, that we're providing an absolute solution, not just a prayer, not just a wish, but you're getting actual results to make so that your lives are easier. Which hopefully, I don't know how you guys are paid, but I would think in terms of whatever bonuses companies do provide in general, whatever you guys do in general, that not hitting cables and not hitting conduit and not hitting beams and not hitting structures is a big deal.
Yeah, it's all just it's hits against our, you know, overall budget. So you get too many of those big ones and no one's really happy at the end of the day.
No. And so we'll use whatever technology we have to make sure that we bring that product, a good product that is going to help from here and going forward for sure.
So let me ask you, for someone that would like to get into this, what are the top 3 qualities that someone should have if they're going to go into a career as a GPR tech, field tech?
3 top qualities. That's a good question. I feel like I could be very general and say, oh, hardworking and willing to do what's necessary. And I would have to say, to be honest, though, you got to be detail oriented. And I could say I definitely could improve on that. Probably have my whole life to improve on that. But being detail oriented in terms of when you get overwhelmed by the size of some of these projects that come across your plate, or what you guys deal with as general contractors and you need help, how to handle that, being detail oriented and understanding that it's a process and there's a lot to do. So detail oriented would be one. Definitely got to have a work ethic. You're not going to make it in this industry if you don't. It's just, we've had definitely reps that wanted to go on to some other places, but had to start in the field, and they didn't last long because any job across their plate said, no, I'm not doing that. They don't last long. And for me, something I personally like to see, and this might be in any industry, is humility. Like, understand you don't have the answers and that these guys do. And if you'll be willing to listen twice as much as you speak, you'll find that humility will get you really far. And I hope I've displayed that. I probably have failed a couple times for sure. But I would say that would be my top 3. I would look in for a candidate. Humility, work ethic, and detail oriented.
Yeah, those are great qualities. The humility aspect is a great reminder. I think I said this to you when you came out to not this most recent project, but a project after. But I was thanking you for something and just applauding you for coming as fast as you did. And I was like, man, it just takes a village to build these things, and just without setting aside pride, you'll never get there, you know? So I do agree with you full heartedly that is a good trait that someone needs to have when being in this industry, because pride can, if you're too prideful, it can consume you, swallow you up, if you're not willing to learn from the next person or the person next to you, no matter what they do.
Yeah, I start every day in what I do. Like, I've seen a lot, which helps, but haven't seen it all, and other people have. I love learning in this industry. It's always something new. Like, you guys have to handle 30,000 things, it feels like, at once. And so you're like, oh, we got to go deal with the GPR guy. We got to lay him out. Okay, let's get that done. Okay, I got to go to a meeting. Pete, call me later. Let me know how it goes. You know, and I just have to focus on the GPR. So I feel like what you guys have to handle does take a village. And it's really impressive to see things from the ground up to a finished product. It's incredible how far it seems like or easy it seems like at the end, but the struggle to get through it is real.
It definitely is. So with that being said, as well, you have 2 superintendents in front of you. What's something that we can do better to make you more successful? What's something you've always wanted to ask for or tell a superintendent with a general contractor?
If you guys hear of anybody that needs our services, use me. I will always have your back. And if you say, Pete, I've got this subcontractor that I need you, he's a little bit off on the side. You need to figure out how to build them differently, stuff like that. Just keeping our name out. And I hope that I continue to keep that reputation up. That's something I'd always ask every superintendent is, GPRS differentiates in the things we've already explained, such as backing up their work, the employees they hire. But anytime you guys come across anything that has like this type of technology use, we would just like to be at the forefront of it. That's for sure. In terms of things, actual work in the field, layout is a big thing for us so that we know, I have been asked before, hey, here's my plans, go get it done. And I'll be like, I can't do your layout. I mean, I can do your layout, but if I'm off by 5 inches and then you have to pay for us to come back and you got to do it now, it just saves you a ton of work. That it's not, layout's a big thing for the actual practical in the field. But in terms of just big things, is that Confluence has been really kind. And I believe we have a contract with you guys in terms of certain aspects of things of cost, and I believe so. That also means that all your subcontractors get that. So that's a pretty big deal. So I just say keep using us. We're going to keep showing up, and hopefully we keep that name keep rolling big and strong, which I don't see a single reason why we would not.
Right. Yeah, I don't either. A lot along the lines of you showing up on jobs, how many times do people not disclose everything, like every bit of information, or they're not quite ready for you, or in your experience, is everyone pretty ready for you when you come out?
I'd say that's at about 40%.
Yeah, that's
We know they'll call the office, and maybe that's why we prefer people calling us directly, because I can get through, just ask what you need really fast. But sometimes they'll say, just get a guy out here. We've got a 10 by 40. You get out there, like, oh no, you're going to be on a boom lift. Are you boom lift certified? Oh, you're going to be on a 18-foot ladder and no support. We got to get going. Are you good about how to move this? The things like that happen all the time. And then you get to sites and they'll say, oh no, it's not a 2x10. I need this whole building scanned. And that's pretty common. That's a good attitude trait to keep, though. You got to understand going into a job that's going to probably happen. But unexpected things, I'm trying to think of the most funky thing I've ever seen unexpected. Yeah, probably when I worked in that sludge room, they didn't tell me that it just drained at the wastewater treatment plant. They mentioned that. Sometimes that, and we can do we do have stop work authority, if we don't feel safe, of course, but I don't think I've ever used that in the 6 years. People will tend to hide some details sometimes when you have to climb up something. I've never minded because I've loved climbing my whole life. And I don't have that fear of heights, so I don't mind. And I'll be like, yeah, you didn't mention that. That's okay. I'll get it done. So it happens quite a bit. It doesn't really happen with the guys that know us real well. Like the guys I kind of gave shout outs to earlier, those guys we all get a pretty good clear picture of what we're doing. The new guys will get the kind of wild cards because that's the people calling in the office and haven't used this as much. But I'm trying to think if there's anything other wild. I did do a job in Vail, and the guys were like, we got you a boom lift. We didn't tell your office, but we don't know how to operate it. I was like, oh, good thing I'm certified. I got you. But that's kind of the extent. It's more increased work to scope. Didn't mention that it's all overhead. That's kind of tough for us as an older guy. Working over your head kind of hurts sometimes, but it's not that big of a deal. Kind of can be one-off situations, but that kind of sums it up as best as I can.
Pete, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What you do outside of the work? How do you unwind? How do you spend your weekends? You said you had some little ones at home.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear that about you guys too. I coach. I played a ton of sports. I played through college. That's like probably my escape is sport. I play a lot of golf whenever I can. Good buddies. I went to college in Durango, Colorado, so a lot of us still live around, so I go see them. A lot of good guys out here in Elizabeth that like to go, but coaching consumes a lot of my free time. I coach a tournament team, my 10-year-old son. He plays up on an 11U team. I coach that team. It's fun. It's like having a second job, but doesn't pay any money, which is totally fine.
What sport is that?
Baseball.
Oh, baseball.
That's this W, the Wranglers that I'm wearing. Really cool. Not private. It's just kind of competitive sports program out here in Elizabeth. So I do a lot of that, snowboard, ski. How about you guys? Do you guys like any of that stuff?
Yeah, we're both outdoorsy people. I'm giving up on golf, I think, unfortunately, for a little bit. I've got 2-year-old twins and I've got twins on the way.
Oh, you do? Boy, girls?
Boy, girl, both sets.
And my brothers were twins, and I've got a set of identical on my team. No one can tell them apart. I'm the only one that can, but I think it's because my brothers were twins.
Yeah, golf is definitely time consuming.
It is, but yeah, snow sports, big into snow sports. Yeah, camping, hunting, fishing, all the outdoorsy stuff.
You got to do that in Colorado. If you don't do that, you're missing out. Like, people come from a long ways just to go to the best part of the nation, one of them. And it's so beautiful here. I don't know if you guys experienced the southwest part of the state. That's personally my favorite, where I went to school. Man,
Yeah. Durango.
Hey, Silverton.
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous down there.
To me, it's unmatched, and it's a lot less traffic. But yeah, no, there's a lot of the stuff I like to do too. And take vacation with the family. Just got back from Mexico. Not nearly as scary as everybody said. So, just like to work hard, play hard.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. I guess I have a question for you. You have a 10-year-old boy. Nick and I were debating this, not debating it, but talking about it the other day. I have 2 little boys, and we were talking in the realm of when to have the littles start snowboarding. And when did you start your kid snowboarding or skiing?
Well, I did first. I actually have a video. He's only like 3, but I didn't let him go by himself. I just put him between my legs, and we went down like the chairlift bunny trail. He started, let's see, this was his 4th year. So I started him when he was 6. It's hard when you're little, because I tried my daughter, who's 7, 2 years ago on a snowboard, and she had a real hard time. We were on a lift, just the bunny hill. And I was looking at my boy, and I was like, okay, you got the lift? And I was like, Mia, you got it. And we pushed off. She forgot to push off. So then I was like, Mia, you got to jump. She jumped from 10 feet up. Ruined snowboarding for her.
Oh man,
that's dangerous.
Now she loves skiing, so that's cool. I pushed her. I was like, you got to get back up on the hill. We're born and raised here. You got to do this. It's part of the rite of passage. So she got back up on skis with her mom. But I say there's never too young, because they learn their balance the smaller they are. And that balance, by the time they get to be college, 18, 20s, they'll be ahead of anybody that didn't.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's a very good point. I've got 2 boys that are 15 or 16 months apart, and I think we're going to pull the trigger on the oldest one this winter, or this coming winter. Hopefully I can take both of them, but I just don't think I can do both at the same time.
Hopefully it snows.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, there's a cheap rental places all over. Like, it's super cheap to rent equipment. And Loveland is only $30 for the kiddos at the what's the mountain called? There's 2 mountains on Loveland. The smaller one, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. $30. And then you can get them the free Colorado Icon Pass, where they get like 10 free lift passes to Breck, A Basin, Keystone, and you just go through the Epic Mountain Gear stores and you can get them that. It's a pretty cool deal.
It's a great deal. That is a great deal. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. We'll see if we do. We've been talking about it. I really want to, but we'll see how it plays out.
Nick, how old are your twins?
They're 2 and a half.
And you're having another set 2.5 years later. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's got to be a 1 in a million shot. What was all that 1 in a million talk?
Yeah, it's we're excited. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be we're definitely the official shit show family now.
That's a lot, brother.
Yep, gonna be a lot. but we're excited overall.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. And how about you guys? How how long have you guys been using GPRS?
Oh man, as long as I've been working in the industry, really. So I graduated college in 2015. So since then, 11 years. I remember seeing you guys out on our site, like right out the gate.
That's
So,
awesome.
I was a PE for a long time. Wasn't really running any of the field stuff, but I remember seeing you guys on site. That's when I first, discovered that it was a thing.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, well, I mean, religiously for the last since I've been a super, since what 2017, 2018 maybe, so 8 years. Probably I don't know, 3-4 times a year.
Did you guys go to college here in Colorado?
I did. Yeah, I went to CU Boulder.
Oh, okay. Cody?
I did not go to college. School of hard knocks. I just worked in the field, worked my way up, and
Good
where
for
I'm at now.
It's funny, the big, huge debate these days, and all the parents is sending kids to college versus getting them into trade work, and it's really turning towards trade work. A lot of them, that's what they want to do. It's a hard one for me because college was a lot of fun, but if the guys that get started earlier, like such as yourself, Cody, are way ahead of the guys like me when they finally get it. Because I'm 40, I'm gonna be 43. And
Yeah, there's good and bad on both sides. I could argue.
But I also think it's changed quite a bit, like price of tuition is skyrocketed. So it's kind of the risk reward, is it worth it? Because I got buddies that went 6 figures in debt and came out not getting a job, and you definitely don't want to put yourself in that position. But yeah, you can be smart about it. You got to be smart about your major, and it's also hard for an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old to pick a path. You just don't have any experience at that age.
I couldn't, so it probably didn't do me any good. I got a business administration degree, a bachelor of a BA in that, and I don't even use it. They don't even require it for what I do.
Yeah, I've said this a bunch of times. I feel like college should be offered at a later time
Yeah,
in life. Like it should be pushed on. We should all have to go to some sort of trade school, some sort of something. Not everybody, but there needs to be, like a little gap, a gap year, if you want to call it. I know that's a trendy thing right now for the younger generation.
Sports, like all the kids that come right out of high school, because a lot of them go to college for sports right away. That'd be a hard thing to maintain. But yeah, there's definitely a fine line. I mean, it feels like when I meet, a lot of times general contractors send their lowest guy to come talk to us, and that guy's like 20 years old, 22 years old, and I'm like, are you in school? He's like, no, I'm just working. I'm like, but I know it's tough right now, but you were way ahead of the curve, my friend. I promise. Like, I totally see that side of the coin for sure.
We did an episode about 6 weeks ago. Something happened, our guest couldn't show up, so Cody and I just did a him and I thing, and we just discussed our 2 different paths, and we're essentially in the same spot now. But yeah, there's benefits to both. I started going into the classes I took because I studied civil engineering, and Cody's like, "Oh my god, like I want to go sign up now. Like those sound so interesting." I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of wish I could go back and take them again, knowing what I know now. I'd probably be a little more engaged than I was at 20 years old." But college was fun, I will say. It was a blast.
College was fun, but usually I've had a good saying: take all the fun you've had, wrap it up, and what do you got to show from it? And I would say not much.
That's funny. I was just thinking, I mean, that episode we're gonna do, it was behind the hard hat, and it's just a little segment that Nick and I are gonna do. But I was thinking when he was telling me about all these cool classes, I was like, man, the same time that Nick was in those classes, I was probably learning how to bounce my hammer into my tool bags at the same time. That was the only cool trick I had.
That's a pretty cool trick.
You can still do it today. So I guess some things stay, you know.
It's awesome.
Go to school, kids. No, I'm just kidding.
Or don't.
Or no. It is interesting. I mean, we're already not really thinking about school. You know, our kids are still pretty young, but sometimes it's like, what do we want to do? Like public school? Do we want to do private school? Do we want to, push college? Do we want to push not college? Like there's just a lot of options. And then go ahead.
Oh, I just was saying things are changing for sure. Like it's hard.
It's hard to know as a young parent.
Just take the next right step and you'll know what to do. That's all it is. Just that step with little ones. At least that's what I mean. I went through 2 surgeries with my daughter. That was tough. So there's always going to be crazy things that happen with 2 sets of twins. That's counted as 100%. Something's going to happen. Someone's going to fight. Someone's going to break a finger. Something's going to happen. But yeah,
never a dull moment.
Never. And whatever path they choose, I think what matters. Sorry, those are my daughter right there. Sorry. But path that you choose, the fact that we're there with them, helping them, doing what we can to make them better people and bringing good people in this world. That's all I'm trying to focus on.
Yeah, that's great advice. Phenomenal advice, actually.
Overall, would you say that you're satisfied with your career in GPR for the last 6 years?
Yeah, it's been quite a good path. It's challenged me in almost every possible way, mentally, physically, endurance type of things as well. So it has made me a better person, and that looking back, 2020 hindsight, absolutely. Would say that it was extremely important for me, even as a person, as a dad, as a husband, to fight through hard things, fail, pick yourself up, go through it again, fail, pick yourself up, even have a third time happen, fail, pick yourself up, and then make it over 5.5 years later from that. That has taught me a lot of things. So as a human and as a man, again, and all things I'm trying to be as a good dad, good husband, yeah, no, it's the career that I've been blessed with for sure.
Yeah, that's huge. I know you and I have talked about just the opportunity that GPRS has given you to be close to your family and available for your family. And I think you and I share that. And I know Nick and I share that. Just the opportunity to be home with your wife and your kids is the best thing in the world.
It truly is. It's an opportunity. It's not a guys. It's an opportunity.
Like World War III over there. we can't see you still, so we're just hearing it.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's my daughter.
No,
trying to be quiet, and the opposite is working.
That's how it always works. It's those videos or those memes or whatever when you're trying to be quiet or getting ready in the morning and it's just loud as heck.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Well, no, it's an opportunity. It's definitely not whatever the word I'm thinking of. It's if you see it as more of a blessing instead of a challenge, and I mean it is a challenge, but before we know it, we'll blink like I did, and they're 10 and 7. My boy was 2, and my daughter was on her way, just like your twins, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you'll know, they'll be 12 and 12 and 10 and 10, and you're going to 4 different soccer, baseball, swimming, everything, and that you're gonna have to figure out how you and mom are gonna handle that. That's the real challenge coming up.
Mm-hmm. All fun.
I think Nick has a closing remark, and we can let you loose to your family so you can enjoy the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just like to give our guests an opportunity at the end of our shows just to kind of say anything they want. If you want to give a shout out to anyone or Just general message to anyone interested in looking into getting into the GPR career path, or any of your coworkers out in the field, if you want to just take a quick 15-20 seconds and say whatever you want.
Yeah, sure. Big shout out to all GPRS. I'll name some names that are just incredible to the entire team that if you come across them, great references if you're trying to work for us. That'd be Mike Keenan, Chap Snowden, Matt Pudamont, Ryan Shannon, Trey Merrill, Justin Smith, John, I hope I say this right because he's Greek, Solis, Keith Garden, Joseph Stubbs, even our new guys from Ryan Sheps, great team. And if anything else, if you're general contractor, big thing, check out the new technology site map that GPRS has. It is an incredible thing that is where the future is going.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate your time that you put in for us, and thank you for all the good insight and awesome stories.
Hey, yeah, it was good talking with you guys. I'd be happy to do it anytime.
Heck yeah. Thank you for joining
Thanks,
Ruction
Pete.
Nation.
Appreciate it.
See you guys.
See you.
Bye.